Welcome everyone. May is Sexual Assault Prevention Month, and we are here to talk to you all today about what we have been seeing going on in this community. Today, we are talking about access to our supports and services and what we are seeing. So I have got Nicole, who is our client support staff and kind of like the main office assistant, the voice that you're going to hear when you call our center. So Nicole, welcome.
Hello, yes, I have been helping with KSEC on some of our day-to-day operations and our 24/7 crisis line individual client work for quite some time. But yeah, I'm usually the first person that you'll be speaking with when you connect with our center or one of our handy volunteers.
Okay, perfect. So, Nicole, can you describe what your role is like with the Kawartha Sexual Assault Center?
Yeah, most certainly. So, as I was saying before, I help with some of the day-to-day operations with our crisis line, as well as individual client work, as well as our 24/7 chat supports as well. I'm usually that first person that you'll hear on the other line when you give our center a call, and I also help out with some of our volunteers and students.
Awesome. And so, I guess my question is, and really within like the last, I know there's been a big shift with COVID and what people are accessing our center and our services for. What have been some of the general trends, or what have you seen happening on the front desk, and has that changed with the COVID-19 pandemic?
Yeah, so that's a great question. This last year has definitely been significantly difficult for our community as a whole, but especially survivors. As our services expanded to reflect the growing need within our community, our services grew to new platforms like our 24/7 chat service, as well as remote counseling, as the need for continuing to grow with recent experiences as well as historical experiences have been coming to our center. It definitely highlights the continuing grow for our community and what the services need to come together to help stand by survivors.
Mm-hmm. And I guess kind of feeding off of that, what are some of the differences that you're seeing in people that access, let's just say, our 24-hour phone line versus our text line versus online? Are the needs the same, or do they seem a little different depending on which platform people are using?
The needs of our clients, it's kind of universal. So those that would be reaching out to our chat service for that emotional support mimic a lot of the same supports that those would be reaching out for the phone as well. But we have seen an influx in those using those chat services because it's something that's accessible to them that's more discreet as well. So
Yeah.
for those who may be living in not so private environments, say with
Mm-hmm.
roommates, family, it's a way to get that in the moment support, but still having it a little bit more confidential and a little bit more discreet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's why I feel like our web chat and texting is so important because you can access that on your phone, you can access that on your computer, especially with the computer, you exit that conversation and it's gone. With texting, depending on who has access to the phone and the bills and stuff like that, it can show up, but I feel like our web chat has just been a really kind of vital support. Do you find that more people are accessing one line of our crisis support compared to another?
It's kind of more so that they'll access one type of support initially, and that will be kind of their door opener to being accessing the rest of our services at the center. So, say with someone who accesses our chat service and will be speaking to either myself or a volunteer late at night, they would then be following up with us the next day to then go into the rest of the route of service for a center to be connected to that individual one-on-one counseling, our group works, our other supports. So it's more so uh, more of a gateway versus one stream or another. It's a continual path.
Hmm. And sorry, before we get to Sexual Assault Prevention Month, what have you been seeing over the last year in terms of trends and people accessing our supports? I know we've spoken extensively about the increase in sexual violence happening domestically within the home. Is that still something that you're seeing, or is it shifting over time?
It definitely is something that we're still seeing, as well, more complex circumstances in regards to safety as well, given that some may be exposed to their perpetrators of harm at the home,
Mm,
or have limited access to other spaces due to the stay at home order. Some of
mhm.
those coping strategies or safety planning that they would usually access, like friends' places or schools, universities,
Coffee
is a little
shops.
bit more limited.
Yeah. And I guess now heading into, we've got very complex kind of needs, and that I think that's really where we're fortunate to have the advocacy and accompaniment, and which is an interview that's coming up. Um, Going into advocacy and accompaniment, kind of on the advocacy side, Sexual Assault Prevention Month. We're here, it's May. The hashtags still need consent, hashtag no one asks for it, hashtag it's Friday and I'm still a survivor, still a supporter. What does Sexual Assault Prevention Month mean to you, Nicole?
Yeah, so Sexual Assault Prevention Month to me is an opportunity for our community to raise that awareness, to highlight the resiliency of survivors,
Mm,
as well as to stand alongside each other in this time of upheaval, that sexual violence should not be the normal.
mm. And so, why do you think Sexual Assault Prevention Month is important for our community and important for survivors and their supporters?
Well, Sexual Assault Prevention Month is so important now, especially more than ever, because so many survivors are isolated, relearning how to cope with limited access to their day to day coping strategies that they may have relied on in the past. Providing that unity and connection and support in any kind of platform will be able to help create space for survivors. So, creating this space for them to speak their truths, to create that space of healing, and to create space for action to be taken.
Mhm. And Nicole, if there are survivors out there listening, or even the supporters of survivors, which we do support at our center, which I think is really incredible, what is your message to them coming from the client support staff of Nicole from the front desk? What's your message to those survivors and supporters?
Yeah, my message would be that I'm with you and I stand beside you and that I believe you. Survivors and our supporters, I would ask you to use your platforms in any capacity to help change that narrative by standing together in unity. That hashtag sexual violence should not be the normal.
Mm, I love that. Sexual violence should not be the normal. I feel like it's a very long hashtag, but so important. And it's really unfortunate that we're seeing these huge increases in this happening. And I think it's the important work that you're doing right on the ground, being right there with them, is so important.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, as well as to the work that you're doing with our education. I know that you've been working really hard in our community to also help spread that awareness. So thank you as well for taking the time to talk with me today too.
Amazing, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for Nicole hopping off the front desk, hopping off the calls to come and speak to us today. For everyone tuning in out there, May is Sexual Assault Prevention Month, and this is the opportunity to make a difference. So making sure that we're using the hashtag, hashtag no one asked for it, hashtag still need consent, hashtag Sexual Assault Prevention Month. Our 24/7 crisis supports are still available. If you are a supporter, get connected to those supports, see what it's like, and make sure that you can make those references to those folks that are reaching out to you. Sexual Assault Prevention Month is ongoing throughout the month of May. So we have fundraisers and giveaways happening throughout all of our social medias. So be sure to stay tuned. We'll see you later.